This is a John Deere 310 SG. The engine in it is a John Deere 45T turbocharged engine with 89 horsepower. The battery is a 12-volt battery, which I'll show you where it's located in a second. In first gear, max travel speed forward is 3.6 miles an hour, and reverse is 4.0. Second speed forward is 5.9. Third speed forward is 14.4, and the highest speed forward gear is 22 miles an hour, and backwards it's 27 miles an hour. To get this started here, bucket looks to be 1 or 2 yards really. It's a 5-tooth bucket. Standard bucket for the 310 SG is a 24-inch bucket. I really don't know how buckets are measured. I would always think in width, but if I had to say width, I would say around 18 to 24 inches. Now, here's your dog bones. You see they're curled, and then your linkage right here. And there is the bucket. Oh, it is a 24-inch bucket. Now the pins, you can see cotter pins right here, just to hold in the bucket. There's a hole in the bucket that they just slide through, and then you just pinch the ends away from each other. And here's your stick. John Deere does offer the extender hoe, which basically gives you the stick inside like extends. Like if anyone's familiar with a mobile crane boom, they extend. Well, the backhoe stick can extend too. Now these things right here, you see, that's to grease it with a grease gun, and most of the times operators will have a grease gun in the cab. Here is the cylinder to curl the bucket, and I do believe when the dog bones are curled like that, you can get a better curl on the bucket. Alright, just had to change the camera settings. Anyway, here's the boom. Nothing so special about the boom. This part right here is the boom lock on it. What it does is this part right here will pull back, then it will then pull this part back, pulling this up like so. And then once you pull that up, you bring your boom back, and this part will then lock under there. Right here and right there is the boom stop. So when this rubber part right here pushes against this, it just stops the boom from coming back. Here's your main lift cylinder to lift the boom up right here, and all the lines running to it. And here's just the pin cap, which basically holds the pin in. Over here is the 2 cylinders that turn your boom. So when this one pulls in, if you're sitting in it, it'll turn to the left, the other one will turn to the right. And then here's what turns the machine. The joint that turns it. Here's one of the Outriggers. I'll explain the Outriggers once I get to the other side. And here's the other side of the machine. I'll get you a better view towards the end. And here's your tire in the back. All 4 tires do drive the machine. And then in here is your diesel fuel tank, grip pad right here. And you would unscrew that, and you could add fuel into it. And now here's the cab. I don't really know too much about the cabs. Obviously, foot pedals are for the drive, and then the steering wheel is to turn it. And what's interesting on it is a lot of people, case backhoes are popular. You see the joysticks are to operate the back over here, which is a little interesting to see. And then your reverse lights and your brake lights up there, and also the white ones are the working lights. And here's your outrigger for machine stabilization. You could also use it as a parking brake if the machine's brakes aren't working, but it doesn't happen too much. Right here is a spacer for the cylinder, so it just doesn't bang, and it doesn't have any rubber under the outrigger, so if you're working on a street, it won't damage the street, but it may rough it up a little. And then here's your lift cylinder to raise your boom right here, and the lines running to it. I don't know which one it is, but one of these pumps fluid in and one of it pulls it out, the way cylinders work basically. Then here's your tire rod to steer the machine. You can see right there the cylinders steer it, and then just your axle right there. And then here's the bucket. This is a 4-in-1 bucket, meaning you do 4 applications in this one bucket. You can grade, you could push, act as a normal bucket, and then you could also, like a grappler, they call it clam with it. This is the cylinder to open it up. As you can see right there, it is partially open. And then just the lines that run to it. Now, here's what curls the bucket right here. When it pushes down, the cylinder basically brings these linkage apart, and as it comes down, it spreads them, which brings the bucket down. Now, this part right here is so when the bucket's on the ground, it just, gives it a better guide on it. And then your radiator's in there, and the fan. And chrome exhaust pipe. Then there's a sight glass for the oil. Now, I'm not sure if this backhoe has it, but on some backhoes there is an option called a float feature, which when you're grading the ground, this has actually been a big question of mine. You always have your bucket flat, but the bucket doesn't stay level. It dips down with the machine. What the float feature does is, as the machine's grading and the tires will dip in or they'll dip out, the boom automatically adjusts to the level that you're grading to, which is a cool feature. I know some cat backhoes have it. And then that's an air filter for the when the air is brought into the cab. If you're working in a dusty environment like sand or dry dirt, it just filters so no dirt will get brought into the cab. And then here's just this side of the machine. Really isn't much different. Here's a cab, and then there's the operator's view. But John Deere does make the 310J. This one is the S series. The G, I mean. This one is the S series. But there it is. And what I found interesting is it's plowing a parking lot like here, and it doesn't have a box plow, so take a little bit more time to plow. But there it is.